Hey YouTube. Um, I have a little video running here, and that is a recording from Columbus, Ohio. And this video sequence is in reality 1 hour and some 20 minutes, which I cooked down to 15 minutes because YouTube decided to bump me off my unlimited length of videos because I have an opinion about the sitting president, and they didn't like that, so they cut off my opportunity to make long videos. But nonetheless, that ain't gonna discourage me, YouTube. No. And he's still a crook. But what I have been seeing, and now I've been driving this trip for a year, um, and I would say to you trolls and the fools out there that I know what I'm talking about because I see it every day. You don't. You see it from a completely different perspective than I do, because I'm driving out there in the boonies where the skies are big, so I can see as far as my eyes can see out there in the horizon, to the north, to the east, to the west, and to the south. But in this case, right there, I'm going west, going back to Indianapolis from Columbus, Ohio. It's a stretch of 184 miles from point to point. But I don't know if you can see it on this video. Yeah, I'm having to look down at it myself a little while I'm recording this, kind of like to have an idea. But as you have already noticed, there are some lines in the sky stretching from the sky and down to ground, and it's going to be more protractive later than you see it right now. This is just the beginning of it. Why am I bringing that up? Well, I'm thinking chemtrails. Oh, another conspiracy nutcase. Yeah, I know. But it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It is real. Something is going on up there, and that is very clear to the naked eye. Something is definitely going on. And every day, pretty much. But I have a serious problem. You see, when you look at these pictures here, or this little sequence, cooked down to 15 minutes, I just left Columbus, Ohio, and you can already see these lines sticking down from the sky and down to the ground. Now, with this amount of chemtrails that we are seeing being sprayed over our heads every day, pretty much, there is every reason to believe that this idea about what chemtrails are not really what we think it is. You see, we got some people up in the northwest of America. One of them is Dane Wigington. And there are some other people. And they have some profound test samples of aluminum, barium, and strontium. Well, I don't really hear that comes from anywhere else on the planet. If it does, no one is talking about it. All we hear is, what in the world are they spraying? These people, these heroes, these who talks about this subject, which is in those two movies. But I have this idea that I think that's a distraction, another one of them, a very well-produced distraction, and I even think that they are spraying that stuff on purpose up there, in order for that to show up, also be part of that evidence, to lead us away from why they're really doing it. Why are they really doing it? Well, the answer is very simple. Something in space is coming this way, and we are not supposed to be able to see that. I hold to say that chemtrails is nothing to do with Monsanto. It has nothing to do with depopulation. World War III will take care of that, and all the disasters that will come in the wake of that will take care of that. They don't need to spray us like rats to kill us off. Nature will do itself later on. So, 1/3 of you will go bye-bye in the First World War. 1/3. That's 2.5 billion people. That means if your family are free, one of you will die. Think about that. That's just for one war. And then we talk about the biblical thing, God's wrath. And some will lean it over to be Nibiru, right? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. It don't really matter what's coming. But what's coming is going to leave a scar on planet Earth. And what's coming we're not supposed to see. And I have a video underneath here, a link to a video where I show and prove that it is really possible with these substances they are spraying to cloak certain colors out, make them invisible to the naked eye. And that is what the chemtrails are for. It's not to kill us off, because, as I said, World War III will do that, and God's wrath will do that. Whatever, it's gonna rain from the sky with fireballs, Many things is going to take place. But my problem with these particulates that they are saying we are spraying up there, they are 1 micron in size. That means you will only be able to see them under a microscope. They're actually the size of an atom in your body, pretty much. That's the size we're talking about. But I have a problem. I have a serious problem. You see, these airplanes are flying around up there, right? We have commuter airliners flying around up there. We got private people flying around up there in that stuff. And we got me down on the road driving every day. Now, what do we mean by that? I mean that if they're really spraying aluminum oxide in your atmosphere, as we are being told they're doing, that aluminum oxide is in itself very toxic to all organic life. And it will kill us off. And if you see the amount we are being sprayed with every single day, do you think now that you would be alive inhaling all that stuff? I hardly believe so. You would die of blood clot or cancer, because it sits in your cell membrane in your lungs, and your white blood cells cannot attack it, because aluminum oxide has the hardness of 9 on the Mohs scale, meaning it is 1 level lower than the hardness of diamonds, and is used for grinding sandpaper in the metal industry. And I've said that before. So, we have commuter airliners, we have the chemtrail sprayers, and we have all the amateur flyers up there, flying around in this so-called metal particulates. They're flying with 400 to 500 miles per hour up there in that stuff. So, wouldn't there be a very good reason to believe that we would see a lot more airplane crashes because of malfunction in the engines, or more or less that your airplane, while it's flying up there in that sandpaper, it would be sandblasted. The fuselage of an airplane is aluminum, right? The airplanes will take damage. Yeah, no, then some will say, yeah, but they can mix it in the fuel. Well, that might be so. But that is a completely different process. That is an integrated process. It's inside this system itself and is utilized in a certain way. But in this case, these airplanes are flying straight through all this stuff 24/7, because it's always there, from ground to ceiling, literally. So, what is it in reality they are spraying? We can come with many guesses. Yes, we can. But that don't mean that that is the truth, just because we come in with a lot of ideas. But I have a big problem with them flying around in all these metal dust, being sandblasted. Think about a prop engine. Usually these prop engines have a wooden propeller on their airplane. How do you think a wooden propeller would withstand beating around in all these metal particulates? Don't you think that those props would be severely damaged? And don't you think that the commuter airliners would be severely damaged? That the cockpit's windows would be scratched because of the impact in the air with 400 miles an hour hitting a particulate which is the hardness almost of a diamond? So the idea of literally metal particulates is being dispersed in the atmosphere. I'm beginning to think it's a little distraction, leading us away from what it really is. And they're doing a good job in that. Even I bought the ticket, but I'm not in the favor of that anymore because, as I say, the airplanes will drop from the sky, flying through all that stuff. And on the other hand, I'm a truck driver right now, and I'm driving up there every day, seeing all this stuff, and I'm filming it, as you see here. I'm filming it every day, taking my laptop and my webcam and stick it on the window and record what I'm seeing, in case there is actually something to report about. So I've been doing that for a year, and I am seeing a system in what they're doing. And that system, I'm gonna be a little, what do you call it, almost like Sesame Street. I'm gonna draw uh, a picture of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio on a big piece of paper, and then I'm gonna explain from the top and show you exactly what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing the same thing every single day. And it don't fail unless it's a rainy day. But if it's a fairly blue sky, you always see there's something out in the horizon, this line, no matter where you look. But that line has a specific purpose, and that is what I'm trying to, in the next video, I'm gonna try to see if I can make you understand what I mean by that. Um, it, I can give you a hint. It literally looks like when I'm driving, no matter which direction now, because now I'm driving from east to west, from noon to midnight, and now I see it in the opposite sequence and opposite order, meaning I'm seeing from day to night instead of from night to day. So it's reversed now. And when I look upon it, there is no difference. It's the exact same thing I'm seeing. So what I was watching in my rear mirror and all those pictures I've shown you, I stick my hand out and take some shots and see what it's getting on it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Mostly of them is more or less shook up because, well, the truck is not stable enough to give good pictures, but some of them are good. But they really show what's in the horizon behind me, and I see that in my mirrors because, yeah, I'm watching my mirrors all the time, so that's obvious. I don't have a rear mirror, so I have to use my mirrors out on the side every time. I look constantly, every few seconds, doot, 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 doot. What's there? Is everything okay? And then I see the horizon, and I'm just, this is not right. And I also try to convey to you that what I'm seeing is like a blanket, you have on your bed. And that blanket, imagine you putting a string in each corner of that blanket, and that blanket is being pulled by a device up over your body and in over your head and covering you. You get me? And on the piece of paper I'm going to draw and try to show, I'm going to try to illustrate to you what it is I mean about that. But it looks like that, and it really also is like that. And anybody who were in Illinois yesterday, meaning Saturday, that had got to be the 14th, right? Yeah, it was the 14th. I was seeing the same again. This blanket coming in from the east, covering the sky. And when it covered me, the stars began to appear. How is that possible? Something looked like overcast coming, dragged over your head. And when you come in under it, do, 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 the stars begins to pop up. So something is not right here. Something is not right. And I'm trying to explain to you what it is I'm seeing and explain why this is not right. See you next time. Okay, as promised, um, This is my Sesame Street. As you see here, this is Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. This is my semi-truck. This is my base. That's my start point. These two sticks here X marks the spot. You can kind of calculate that that is chemtrails. And this one is quite obvious. What's that, you think? That's our sun. The red line here is the sun's course over the sky. It's funny how it's blinking. Why is it doing that? That is a little weird. Okay, interesting. Well, then I have these two crossed, and the reason why I have painted them like this is because often these types of clouds, which I call the canopy, comes up either in a zigzag or in a square pattern, and they pretty much lie over the sky like that, and they look there's two types I have seen. That is one that is stretching the entire horizon towards the west, and I can't see how big it is, how much room it takes up on the horizon in reality, because it's too big for me to watch that far away. But some of them are like this, a little skimpy, long, tongue shaped kind of, also in this square zigzag patterns, and I often see them, and you have seen them on my videos too, and you've seen the pictures too. You just go back and look. And often they are lying like this and blocking the sun, so you can't see it, but the sun is there and there's lots of light. And sometimes it is that one which is blocking, and it's so big that I can't see past it and see, is there something behind this canopy? Because when you look at it up in the sky, it's very flat. It's like a piece of bread. It's just a slice, kind of. Looks like a pizza. If you get my point, just a slice. They're not raising up in height, up above like cumulus clouds do. They're just the exact same height all the way over, and they're covering the sun often, or they're just lying in an area. So that light, which is coming over towards the west, is not receiving because the sun is up here. So that one is creating a shadow, as you see. You can see the shadows being created, right? So if that one is following, then the sun is above and you cannot see the sun, but you can see where it is. And sometimes it's just like that. Just a tongue sticking in over it, and not really taking up a big part of the sky, and the rest of the sky is, well, if you look not at the horizon, you will see that the sky is bluish. I want to say regarding plasma TVs and LCD TV screens, they cannot give the same colors as real natural colors, and that is why you are seeing the sky look baby blue. They cannot copy the exact color of the sky, and I will come to that in part 4 and explain to you what I'm talking about. But that's just to put it out there for you to ponder about. And these two props here I call the veil. There's a thin one, which is often associated with the sunrise. When I was driving, for the first year I was driving for my company, I had my route from Indianapolis to Columbus, Ohio on I-70. So when I get over here, it's around, if I have a good start, I'm over there around 5 o'clock. And if they are nice, I will be out of there in half an hour and return. What I see in the horizon then, when I'm driving out towards Indiana, when I'm coming a little part up there, I kind of see that there is this pinkish orange line, and that is what I'm illustrating here on the edge. And behind that edge of this pinkish line, it's darkness. And I can see the light is beginning to get clearer and clearer. And I even have showed you in one of my videos how I was underneath it. And while I was driving towards Indianapolis, it just moved away from me. and disappeared and lied out in the horizon again. And I could still see it. And when the sun came over and got high enough to really give off not reddish light, but an orange light, but what we is when it's up high, at least 30 degrees above the horizon, this line disappears, and it is being exchanged with a darker horizon all around. Wherever you look around, north, west, and south, and even east, you can see there's this kind of like a wall. You're looking at some. Yeah, it looks like the sky is kind of dirty, if you want my opinion. It's bluish, grayish, darkness. It's just plain ugly to look at. But in the morning, what I often saw when I was here and left, that was they were already in there and marking the spot, saying good morning, right? And this veil is kind of hiding the sun. And in the end, the sun finally, you know, hiding the sun. That would be like that above it, right? And when the sun comes longer in, we also see in the rise of the sun this pinkish orange line through the horizon. Even in the east, we see that. I see that, and my videos have also shown that. And then the sun passes, and this one again, like the other side over here, is retracting and leaving behind this, as I talked about, all around in the horizon. You see this darker line, which is lying, man, I would say maybe 10 degrees above the horizon. You can see that's the difference between the darker area and the light area in the blue. But during the day, what I see, depending on the wind direction, if the wind is coming from the north, which is doing a little too often now, I think, that is not normal, we see that the chemtrails is mainly positioned in front of the sun because the chemtrails are drifting with the wind. Right? You understand me? And that's what they're doing, and they keep crisscrossing to make sure that they are doing something in front of the sun. Whatever is to hide Nibiru, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And when they're kind of done doing that, then this thing is coming in and blocking our sun. If you get my point, you can't see it from the ground, but you can see it's behind this thing. And sometimes it's like that. But now I'm driving after a year driving this way, and I have paid a lot of attention to what I've been seeing. Put the sun over there again. Now I go to St. Louis, East St. Louis in Illinois, and now everything changes. Everything. Now I want to show you something, because when I was driving this way, I started 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. And now I have a day shift, and finally I get to sleep with my wife again. That's wonderful. And now I drive from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. on this stretch. So when I'm here, it's just broad daylight. There's really nothing to kind of, talk about, except these are present or this one is present. This one is not present yet, but still out in the horizon, wherever I'm looking, I'm having this dark line even behind me where the sun is. And over here, of course, when I'm coming in, which is rather late because it's a 4-hour drive. Oh man, the sun is being run down. Again, they're all chemtrailing around the sun. Let's just take these out for a second. Let me show you this. When I then return, and when I get around Effingham, it's starting to get darker. And the sun is beginning to set. And I got some, yeah, it looks like another planet. Pretty much. The sun is simply just buried in chemtrails over here, and everybody in Illinois will know what I'm talking about. If you're living in St. Louis, you see this every day, pretty much. At sunset, the sun is simply just being buried in chemtrails. So when I come over to Effingham and it's beginning to get dark, I'm seeing the same exact thing again as I saw when I was going east, going west back. In that whole year I was driving this stretch. So I'm beginning to see this one showing up because of the sunset, the reflection of onto something. And sometimes you see there's a few stickers, chemtrails sticking out from this dark edge, which is lit up orange, equivalent to the same color as the sunset is on my rear. So when I come in here, this thing is moving. Sun is buried already. It's finished. We don't want to see that, right? This thing is moving. I can see the darkness behind this orange line I see in the horizon towards the east. The sun is already setting, as I said. So I'm moving towards, and I'm in Effingham around there, and I'm moving towards, and this one is coming towards me. And at some point, this disappears and simply just become like that, uniform, dark, bluish gray. Again, this dirty look to it. But when it passes in over me like that, and I'm coming past it, and the darkness takes in, then stars starting to appear, and it really looked like I got it on video. I'm gonna put in a few minutes and show you. And I also want to show you something about holograms and how advanced they are today. So when I come in under here, I see stars, and then it's just darkness. So that's what I see, and this is the best way I can describe what I'm seeing out there. And I have the benefit that I'm going in the right direction, that I'm not going like this, because that'll make it more difficult. Here I have an opportunity to follow the sun's path and what they're doing. And out here I got so much view. So much view. I can see the whole sky, basically. When I get up on a hill, I see everything out there. Everything. You might wonder why um, the title to this presentation is called Liquid 3D Skies, or Liquid Skies 3D Hologram. That's my wife's idea, because as I will show you in the next episode after this, how it is possible that aluminum can be soluble in water, and barium can be soluble in water, and strontium can be soluble in water, and also that these components that they are using actually are also being used in the projection of holograms. So I think I'm on to something. I think we are looking something like not a real sky anymore. And I have been talking about that for a while. I say it's fake clouds, it's a fake heaven, there's something terribly wrong in what I'm looking at. And, you know, there's always those people out there that don't want to see it, and maybe they just pretty much get scared of their wits, because something inside everybody of us knows something is not entirely correct anymore. Everything is kind of skewed, if you like. But this is what I see. And this was what blew my mind when this one came in the other day like that, and looked like it was getting overcast, and it looked like a dirty, real dark line with this orange fading out to the sunset equivalent. And then it just became this uh, blackness, and it came in over me, and then it was just black, and then I could just see the stars, and there was no clouds, and it was like a blanket was dragged in over me, and I actually felt quite uncomfortable watching what I was watching, because I knew this is not possible. This is simply not possible. But that's what happened, and I saw the same way. But this moved away from me. I didn't come in under it. This moved away with me. In the first year I was driving in the sunrise, and it simply just moved away. It disappeared. I actually was in under it, and then it just, of course, it moves faster than I do, so I go 60 miles an hour. I don't know how fast this one is going, but it's like the blanket is being being dragged away, and daylight is exposed to us, and the sun is allowed to be here, and we are spraying the crap out of it, and we are burying the sun in weird square clouds. That's all I have to say in this episode. Follow up. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you about the aluminum, the strontium and the barium, which is being picked up in the snow melt and in water and in rain and in the soil. Well, aluminum comes in liquid form. It also, under the right circumstances, mixed with water. You can go do your own research on that if you don't believe me in that. There's something called liquid aluminum sulfate, and that's actually over here if it wants to change. And it comes in liquid form here. It's found like water in solid, liquid and in gaseous form. So now we know that, meaning if it's done in the right chemistry, they could mix this stuff with water and spray it out in a mist in the atmosphere. Likewise with strontium, which we go into now, which is a whitish powder, also silvery white metallic, but that too is reactive to water. It can be dissolved in water. So there we have that one. And I was talking about this 3D thing. And then we got liquid barium, which is an absorber of X-rays, meaning that when a patient is having a gastrointestinal examination, he's drinking liquid barium. It's a white chalky powder which is mixed with water, and you drink it fast, and whoopty, it already fills up your intestines, as you see here. But it blocks the X-rays. And then you can see if there's anything there. If there's a black spot, that means there's something there. But this barium is also used in TV screens. Strontium is also used in TV screens, the old TV screens, not the new LCD and the new plasma screens. That's digital, that's electronic. But in the old days, you know, the radio tube, big screen, big glass, very heavy TV. And that is actually used there to block X-rays coming from the light source that is actually portraying your picture. I even think there is a picture on a TV screen down here, just to illustrate it. It doesn't matter. But it turns out strontium here, and that is what I've had on my mind for a long time, and that is we are looking at a hologram. Our sky is not what you think it is. Not anymore. Unfortunately, it's not anymore. Let's go down to the bottom here and then go a little up. Let's see. This is wasting my time. Let me see. It should be right up here somewhere. There. Oh, strontium barium niobate can be used in outdoors holographic 3D displays as a screen. Now we know barium and strontium and aluminum is sprayed into the atmosphere. We know there's something called Project Bluebeam. We also know, if we are in the conspiracy world, well, we could talk about there's supposedly to come a false flag alien invasion or disclosure of some sort to fool the masses, and you will be fooled, all of you who don't know what you're looking at. You will be fooled. But now we know that, and I of course look it up, and what is on the top line in my Google search, here's a PDF file from Army Research Laboratory, 3D holographic display using strontium barium niobate. So here we got a 21 pages PDF. There's a link to it underneath, of course, so you can go read it. And this is from 1998. So when they were working with this stuff back then, How far do you think they are now in holographic technology? Look how technology today has exploded since the computer got on the market, and how it's really progressing still. So we have a research laboratory in the army training or researching in 3D holographic. I believe they will want to try to use that to make it to trick the enemy to think there's a whole fleet over there, and that maybe there's a whole army, a battalion over there, and then everybody's pointing their guns in that direction, and then they'd be overrun from the other angle. I don't know, but we know that if you look in the conspiracy world, there is talk about this disclosure, there is this talk about this alien false flag event, and it's also part of the Illuminati card deck, so it might just ring true. But how to prove what I'm sitting here and talking about? That would be very simple. Now you know that barium, strontium and aluminum can be used in 3D holographic imaging or emulation of presenting an image which is not there. You just think it's there. So here it comes. If, let's say again, if there is a Nibiru, if this is the case, let's take aluminum as the beginning. That one is the most famous one of them, right? Can we agree to that? So we try to take aluminum right there. What was it? There. Oh, that's magnesium. There. Aluminum. So now we have aluminum on the spectrum. And this Mark McCandlish in the movie called Why in the World Are They Spraying? Or is it What in the World Are They Spraying? He's actually been working with these programs when he was a soldier on a classified level. So what he knows, we don't know, but he knows a lot. And he's talking about if you take a particular frequency and paint an image on the sky, that's what he says. So I still say he's spilling the beans without saying it directly, that they are fooling you. So let's just say Nibiru is a red thing, a red fiery sky, a star or dragon on the sky, right? And we excite the atmosphere with these particulates or this solution, water solution of strontium, barium and aluminum, and we cut the wavelength down to 6,000 angstrom and we click enter. Nibiru is now to you invisible. You cannot see it. This is a young person's eyes. I'm not young anymore. I'm kind of in the middle. So that's where I am now. So if I want to see Nibiru and they don't want me to see it, all they need to do is change the ionization and with a certain frequency and of course wavelength. I don't know the energy proportions in that, but I'm pretty sure that HARP can take care of that. And the Gwen tower standing around, which everybody think is cell phone towers, they are part that, but they're also part of this 3D holographic imagery we have in our skies. And I've said the sky looks weird sometimes, and the clouds look very strange. They don't look like real clouds. Some of them are square, not happening. And I will say again, God do not create straight lines. It's all wavy, but what we see in the sky is often, and very often, straight lines. So let us take this one, and if we talk about there might be a blue Kashina, yeah, we can do that. Then we just take it the other way around. Boom! Blue Kashina gone for you. You don't see it. So Nibiru, or the red dragon, whatever, planet of the crossing, gone. It's not here. You can't see it. That could be one of the reasons for why they're spraying so heavily. And even on an overcast day, you see that they're spraying above the clouds. They keep spraying, they keep spraying, they keep spraying, even after dark. In the middle of the night, I see them spray, because I'm out there in the night. Not anymore, but I used to see that. Especially when the moon was up there, you could clearly see, oh, what is he doing there? Hello. I thought it was about sun obscuration, blocking out the sun because of high UVA and high UVB and high UVC rays coming in, plus ultraviolet light. which is very harmful to us. That is what they're talking about in the chemtrail movies, and this is about this. And that was one of the reasons why, Dane Wigginton's page got taken down, because he invested in a UV wavelength spectrometer, and he actually could point out that we had some severe problems down here. And maybe that's the reason why they're spraying, simply just to preserve what's down here. Maybe the life for us will be so miserable that, yeah, they need to keep status quo. They have a plan they need to carry out, and if they can't carry that plan out, you know, that would be very frustrating, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't, but it's prophesized all this was going to take place, and that would be a great delusion, and it's soon coming. And that's, I think, this is what we're looking at. So, but let's go to, this was the aluminum. And if we have the strontium 1 instead, it goes the same. Nibiru or blue Kashina is gone. You can't see it. Take strontium 1. Still gone. And what was the last one? Was it barium? Yeah, barium. Gone. And this is for the vast majority of people, because you are adults. So your eyes are not the same. So this will be what you will practically see. You see? They're gone. So in reality, they can change if this works, and if it works how I think it works. They can literally shut down our sky. And you know, there's this talk about in the Bible about 3 days of darkness. I don't know what it pertains to exactly, but if they're capable of, as I told you about in part 2, where I had my little Sesame Street drawing to explain, this veil which is moving in over me might just be that which is spelling that night is coming. They are determining, of course, so it looks real, according to seasons, the right time and the right moment for the veil, and the right speed for this veil to move over us and reveal what we today think is stars, but as people have noticed around the world, and that is sometimes we see lots of stars, sometimes there's maybe 10 stars in the sky and the sky is clear, and sometimes there's a couple of hundreds. Sometimes you can see the Milky Way, and you know, if it's dark and you're not living in city light pollution, you should be able every night, if it's clear, to see the Milky Way, no matter where you are on the planet. So why are we not seeing the Milky Way anymore? Is it because we're not looking at a real heaven anymore? Is it because it's being concealed from us? Is it because there's something going on in space we're not supposed to, you know, take notice of? According to what I know, on September 29, 2011, chapter 12 came into fruition in the Bible, and that is the woman clothed in the sun, with the moon at her feet and Venus in her womb, and Saturn the dragon ready to devour the unborn child. That happened on that very day, and on top of her head there were 12 stars. And what was inside that 12 star image? Comet 11, which after that date broke up in 2 pieces, and we never heard from it again. Maybe that was a very distinctive sign for us, told to us, it's now. This is the final warning. You need to wake up. ASAP. Time is short now. Maybe that was what was showing. And after that, there would be a war in heaven, and they would lose, and they would be cast down to earth, right? So maybe they're also concealing what's going on there. And maybe, all these fireballs we've been seeing might just be debris from wreckage of shut down vessels. Maybe, yeah, it's not so much fiction as we want to think it is. But I just proved to you this can be done. And this PDF is quite old, 1998. We're writing 2013, and you see how CGI technology is today. It is beyond, right? It's looking real, very real. So if they can do that, they might be able to do that in the heavens too. Keep your eyes on that sky at all times, and you should see something spectacular. God bless you. Okay, I actually forgot something, which is very important. You know, I'm talking about this stuff, strontium barium niobate, being used as a 3D imagery, what do you call it, a base or element or substance used for that, specifically that. But also something about strontium and crystalline composition have a memory ability to it, and that is quite significant if you want to emulate something on the sky. And as you say this, coming up here, now listen very carefully to what he says. I don't think he is saying it directly, but listen very carefully what he says right here.
But you can also influence what happens locally with the atmosphere by painting the materials that these aerosols are made of with different kinds of radio frequency or RF energy, radar, microwave, the HARP system.
You know, HARP is
So there you got it. Let's hear what he says here.
an array, a field of antennas, radio frequency antennas. They're 72 feet tall, and they have a cross dipole across the top that's about 60 feet in each direction. 180 of these are in the array today, so you can imagine this field of antennas. What happens is by firing each one, they produce radio frequency energy that normally comes off of an antenna, spreads out rather rapidly. Same principle. Principles in physics would be like a flashlight shining on a wall. When you start with a narrow beam, and by the time you open the wall, you've got a wide beam. The idea...
And the white beam, that's what I'm talking about with our universe. When you are looking at the stars, right, they tell us they're millions of light years away from us and we can see them, right? He's just explaining the exact same thing here. Here they're trying to narrow the beam, but light spreads out because light is a frequency, okay? Everything is a frequency. Our universe is electric. So if this star like this one is 100 million light years away, this is our sun, but let's just pretend it's, well, Capella, whatever. Just some star out there. You would not see the light from that because the light would have spread out so much. And even more over that long distance. So our stars must be closer. Much, much closer than we've been told and led to believe. Our universe is not what they say it is. It's very different from what you know.
with HARP is to get it to focus or concentrate that radio frequency energy so it doesn't spread out, so you can hold it tighter together and then manipulate it in very specific ways. Weather control is a broad...
See, they keep using the term weather control. Maybe that is reality, not what it is. Maybe this is a natural consequence of what they're doing. Because these materials are conductive. They are reactive to what energies there are in the atmosphere. Absolutely. They're conductive. And as I just said, our universe is electric. Everything is electric. So of course it has an influence. We are putting metals up there. So yeah, it might produce some, some storms, which is, maybe they are ill-intended, maybe they are not, I don't know. But I think the main part is to fool us all with a 3D hologram. And now watch this little movie here. We've got time enough. Water has memory, like strontium, right? Not one drop of water is alike.
To what extent is water capable of picking up information? What does it perceive? And how does it remember it over time?
The Aerospace Institute in Stuttgart has discovered a relatively simple way of making the structure of a drop of water visible. The researchers have had their efforts rewarded by insights into a very beautiful world. Each drop has a face of its own, unmistakable and unique. Why are the individual drops so different from one another?
You see, that's what he says right there. The water is taken from the same cup of water from the ocean, or coming out of the tap. And not one drop, as you saw, is equal.
We got a lot of people to come to a lecture hall here at the Institute, gave them all the same water, had them make drops at exactly the same time, collected all the drops, and then discovered that each individual produced different images from the same water. And here you can see the results. Here on the right you can see that the images of the individual students are different, but those made by a given student are all quite similar. This is the work of the first experimenter, this one here is from the second, this is from the third, and this from the fourth. Individually they can quite easily be reproduced, but you would never have thought that they were all from the same water, because when you compare the images from the different people, you see some big differences. Then we undertook experiments to find out whether things changed when we put something into the water. A real flower was placed in the water. A while later we took a drop of water, and here you can see one of the pictures. And you can see it in this picture. It's the typical image you get when you put a flower into water. You could recognize the flower in every single drop in this glass, of course. That can be reproduced and has significance. And if you were to put a different flower in here, for example, a Sweet William flower, then all the drops of this water would look like Sweet William.
Do you get the point now? So Mark McCandless, who is a classified military expert, have worked on these projects that has to do with chemtrails. He's saying that to you, painting an image in the sky with a particular frequency, painting material. They are putting material in the sky. They're putting a TV screen in the sky. Strontium barium niobate is used in 3D holographs. It is also used in your TV screen from the old-fashioned TVs. So there's your proof. And water has memory. So if you are exposing water to a flower as this, that water all through the water will represent that flower, meaning all the water in the water, every molecule is recording the existence of this flower. That's significance that water has intelligence like that. That's just it's just mind-boggling. Well, God's spirit descended upon the waters back in the Genesis, so that might be why, why water have these unique properties. But barium have these properties too, and especially strontium, which also have a photographic memory into it by nature. It's not something that they are manipulating the materials to become. It's just there, like water has a memory. It's just there and you can't explain it. So if these technicians or these scientists which is working with this 3D holographic imagery emulation on our sky, and we know that they have been doing this for a very long time now, right? Very long time. We're talking over 20 years of research in this field. And I can assure you they know a lot now. And I think they're very capable now. And I think they're going to fool us very soon. And most of us will be fooled. Unfortunately, But that's the truth of it. So here's your proof. If you want to show something which is not really there, that is possible through a hologram. But it's also possible to take something out which is present. I just showed you that with the spectrograph, that's possible. So there's your answer. I freaking demand of all of you that you keep your eyes on that sky. No matter if it's rain, snow, overcast, sunny, or hot, or cold, keep your eyes peeled to that sky at all times when you're out. As soon as you have a chance to look up, look up. Keep looking up. Please do that. Okay? Because that's where everything is going to take place. It's all about heaven. It's not about what's going on down here. This is just distraction. We should look up and long to get home. Why would you want to be on this weird planet? It's beautiful, yeah, but look at people. My goodness. Can we just have a reset? Because I don't like what's going on anymore. So why are we so keen on hanging on to this more or less filthy place, when in reality we belong somewhere else, and we are actually able to go home, you know? So what's to be afraid of? You know, dying is not the end, right? So keep your eyes on that sky. No matter what you see up there, just keep your eyes on that sky. See anything? Say something. That's a female expression, right? See something? Say something. Report it. Take a picture of it. Don't matter. But let's be nice to each other, because fact is, they are up to some very big stuff now, and they're gonna mess you up. You know, they're gonna really mess you up psychologically with this stuff. And maybe they're already doing it. I think they are. You know, it don't seem like there's a lot of people, especially in good old America, that kind of seem concerned with what's going on. It's like they're completely indifferent to that everything America is being taken apart with this presidency right now. Bush was bad, of course he was. Clinton was bad, yeah he was. And the other Bush was bad, yes he was. But this one, this is a little different. This is the complete dismantling of your good old America. And no one seems to care except bicyclists, motorcyclists. That's what I meant, the 2 million bicycles. Not motorcycles in DC, right? And now truckers are going there. But what about the rest? Are you afraid of getting out of your comfort zone? Are you afraid to leave your football game or your American Idol? Are you afraid to lose your house if you go out and stand up? Well, let me have some news for you. You're going to lose your house anyway. Because one day when they carry in the martial law in this country, you don't any longer have any rights to your property. And in the first place, you don't even have those rights. Your property is belonging to the Royal British House. You think because you have a deed on the land, you own it? No, you don't. So what are you so afraid of? Why are you so complacent? Why are you so indifferent? I don't understand it. It must be mind control. Something is going on with these frequencies that keeps everybody staring at the pavement and not looking at the sky and longing to get home. And that's what I see. And that's very sad. Right now, they have the upper hand. And they have a very good upper hand. They have a royal straight flush. They only got one color wrong. Right? And that's why they will fail, because they got an error. And we got determination in the end to turn this around. But now you got it. This is what I truly believe is going on. And this is what is coming. And is something which is coming in the correlation of the coming World War III. So watch for it. Keep your eyes on that sky. Stop wandering around and bitch at each other and report about some car that fell over a cliff. Keep your eyes on what is really significant. Because this pertains to the entire planet and not just to a single person. And I will say it's pretty selfish not to speak up when you are in the know. And you do know. You have a duty to speak. God bless you.